to the CDO Magazine's interview series. I'm Asha Saxena, CEO of World Leaders Advancing Women Leaders in Data and AI. I love saying world leaders coming together, Bhavna, because I feel like we're really bringing together the world.
We are, yeah.
Right? We are.
Yeah, we have people from all over the world joining. I mean, it's so cool.
In your experience, what value women leaders bring when they are in the room? And how do you think that helps an organization continue growing if there are more women leaders in the organization?
Women leaders or women in general are important everywhere when you think about inclusion. So I think it is that different perspective. It is also we multitask and we manage a lot, right? We have both men and women have their own strengths. So I don't think a team is complete without both representation in my mind. So you're absolutely right. I think we could be lopsided if we have a lot more and it's not balanced or we don't have that balanced of thought. So I do believe the more we can, bring that diversity, it's going to be important. So I wouldn't say,
one or the other,
yeah, one or the other, but I think it's the collective, that diversity of thought and perspective.
And I think that, as you said, that's why when we build world leaders, advancing women leaders, we have male allies and female leaders all together in WLDA, where they all come sit together and talk about the important challenges. And in the organization, even though it says women leaders, we are constantly talking about what is happening in the world of AI, what are the trends. We actually launched our AI roundtable every Tuesday at 4 p.m. We run those where we bring the leaders from across industry to do knowledge share, talk about AI trends, what's in the news, what is happening, and how it's impacting our world. And yesterday, when we were on the call, I mean, there were so many notes, which, as you earlier mentioned, we'll share it with the group. Lots of great reading material. Where do you go get your news? What's implemented? What are you implementing? What challenges are you facing? We talk about that. We have WLDA summits where we partner with our corporate members like L'Oreal. May 9th, we are in Los Angeles at L'Oreal. Beautiful location. Oh my God! If you're ever there, let me know. I'll arrange a site visit. But beautiful location in L'Oreal where we are bringing leaders. We have founders, CEOs, scientists, researchers. We have somebody who's done research on AI models that understand the buying behavior. So the models can detect the buying behavior to understand consumer wants and likes. And so she's going to talk about her research and what she found in her research and what model she used. And we have really interesting topics on people. So we have Chief People Officer from Tinder who's going to come and talk about how do they use the algorithm to make sure that the right match happens when they're hiring, from when they're hiring and how they're consciously hiring, so really interesting topics. And I think that's where we have to constantly become a student of, technology, and constantly reach out and be there. Conferences are great resources. Reading some really good material is good resources. But also having peer groups like WLDA, where you go and you actually ask these questions and knock on each other's door and say, what are you doing, is really critical. So if you're there in LA, come to...
Yeah, no, I'm going to miss that, but that sounds so cool. But I totally agree with you, Asha. Having that networking opportunity world has been an amazing network for me to be part of, just kind of learning and sharing practical experiences, right? It's important that we can read as much as, a lot. We can read research, but when you actually get the practical advice to say, hey, this worked, this didn't work, that's really valuable. That WLDA has provided, and again, networking is an important piece to say, start talking to each other about our challenges, and things are changing so fast that it's helpful to have that kind of avenue, right, to discuss those things for sure. But I would miss that. It sounds really, really fun.
Yeah, it's really, and so for me, I was saying, all my 30 years, I was being in technologies, doing projects, and never really thinking about the community or, learning as much as I'm learning now, or having a mission which I stand behind the way I stand behind now. And I feel that I'm in a different phase of my life where I am in this world where technology is changing. We part of this community, and I get to invest in myself as a leader, and I can be a student again of this environment, which, is constantly enforcing you to learn. I'm going to be in London at London Tech Week AI Summit, and we are actually partnering with IPG Media Brands, where we're going to be doing the Builder Summit there. Our Europe chapter is going to be there, and then we are at St. Louis at Dara's location, Build a Bear in St. Louis, and we're doing a summit there. And then we are going to be at New York Stock Exchange. So we have a new partnership with New York Stock Exchange. So our November summit and gala will be there. So definitely come for that. It's going to be amazing. The floor where our event is, and where before you go to ring the bell, we're going to be in the boardroom for the gala. So super exciting stuff, because I think it's about learning from different industry. As we talk about diversity, I want to close our conversation on be the best at being better. I just love that statement, that quote, because you have to constantly be better at wherever you are. Bhavna, thank you so much for having this conversation. Any last parting thoughts before we close?
Well, I just want to thank you, Asha, for everything that you're doing. I'm quite the fan of yours. If I've always looked up to you. I think what you've done over the last 3 years, it's been inspirational. So just thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. And you all inspire me. I keep telling the team, I want to go to Bhavna's circle again, Bhavna, and I miss coming. And I think our cohort, our mastermind circles are so special, because I think it's the time to take a pause from the world and reflect on your professional and personal, journeys, and make each other better. I love that we are there to make sure that we cheer for somebody else, and we, clap and stand up when others are winning. And I think that's the best way to pay forward. Thank you so much, Bhavna. Thank you, everyone who's listening. I always enjoy these conversations. It gives me a time to sit back and reflect on our world, our technology. Thank you for joining us, everyone. It's leaders. I have to truly say that, Bhavna, it's leaders like you, to be the role model for the younger generation, and everybody who is trying to aspire to create an inclusive, equitable digital future. Remember, advancing parity and equity in the digital world begins with a conversation like these. So stand up and have a conversation, have an opinion, be engaged, and continue creating an impact. I'm Asha Saxena, urging you to stay engaged, inspired, and committed to making a difference in data and AI leadership. And if you are in Los Angeles, please join us May 9th at L'Oreal West Coast campus. And if you have a question about WLDA, reach out to Bhavna or me, and we'll be able to share information about what we do in WLDA and how we build a community that cares. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.